Hello, guys. I'm presenting on the case of Sacramento City Unified School versus Rachel. My name is Eva Valencia. And Rachel was an 11-year-old with mental retardation with an IQ of 44, attended a variety of special education programs from 1985 to 1989. Her parents, the Hollands, were requested that Rachel be placed in a regular classroom in 1989-1990 for the school year. The district rejected the request but proposed divided time between special education class for academic subjects and non-academic activities in a regular class, including art, music, lunch, and recess. The district court found that the plan will require moving Rachel at least 6 times each day between classes. The Hollands After request rejection, the Hollands decided to enroll Rachel in a regular kindergarten school at a private school named Shalom. The Hollands had agreed with the school district on an IEP for Rachel back in the 1990s, but because of the dispute, the IEP was not reviewed since 1990. The Hollands appealed the district placement decision to a state hearing, maintaining that Rachel best learned social and academic skills in a regular classroom and will not benefit from being in the special education classroom. Um, the district contended that Rachel was too severely disabled to benefit from full-time placement in a regular class, and the district failed to request a waiver pursuant to California Education Code 56101, which means that they did not ask for a waiver for the extra services that Rachel will need if she was placed in the regular education class. The hearing officer concluded that the district had failed to make an adequate effort to educate Rachel in a regular class pursuant to the idea. And the hearing officer ordered the district to place Rachel in a regular classroom with support services, including special education consultant and a part-time aide. The district appealed the determination to the district court, and the district court findings were that Rachel received substantial benefit in the regular education and that all IEP goals could be implemented in a regular classroom with some modifications to the curriculum and with the assistance of a part-time aide. Non-academic benefits to Rachel also weighed in favor of placing her in a regular classroom. The testimony of Rachel's mom and her current teacher were the most credible. Based on Rachel's current teacher, Nina Crum, the court found that Rachel did not interfere with her ability to teach other children, and in the future, she will require only a part-time aide. The district court finding continued. The district had not offered any persuasive or credible evidence to support their cost claim that it will be more expensive to educate Rachel in the general education setting than the special education setting. The final decision was that the court affirmed the decision of the hearing officer that Rachel should be placed full-time in a regular classroom with some supplemental services. When the district court rendered its opinion, Rachel was in second grade in the Shalem private school. And why is Rachel's case important in the special education landmark is because of the least restrictive environment, LRE. We need to ask the question, will the child derive educational benefits? And yes, Rachel had benefited from her regular kindergarten class. She was motivated and learned from modeling and imitation. Non-academic benefits will, the second question is, will the student derive non-educational benefits? And Rachel was not disruptive in the regular classroom, and she was gaining non-academic benefits by social and imitation, having motivation when learning. Number three was affecting the teacher and children in the regular class. There was not a detriment disruption in her class. So Rachel's presence in the regular classroom will not be detriment because she was not disruptive. And the cost was, what is the cost, and will the cost put an undue burden on the school? The district had overstated the cost of putting Rachel in a regular classroom. So it is important for us to remember this case because we need to provide the services in the least restrictive environment, and we need to determine, looking at the four factors, which are the educational benefits, the non-academic benefits, the effect on the teacher and children in the regular class, and the cost. Um, The other case that I need to present is Shapiro. In this case, Isidora Shapiro versus Paradise Valley Unified School District. So the name of the child is Dory. Dory is a 7-year-old profoundly deaf with a cochlear implant, and she attended a private out-of-state called the Central Institute of the Deaf, CID, tuition free for 3 school years from 1991 to 1994, and then parent requested authorization um, for her to continue education at SID for the 1994-1995 school year because they had no program available at the school district, which it was Dory's school district. So the district had applied and obtained permission for a self-contained program for children with hearing impairments at Sonoran Sky Elementary, a school 1 mile away from Dory's home. They notified the parents and discussed the appropriateness of the program. The district denied the request of the parents. Um, because the program at the Sonoran Sky will be appropriate for Dory. Dory's parents, after the request rejection, Dory's parents initiated a due process hearing to determine Dory's school placement for the 1994-1995 school year. On May 4th, they met and started drafting an IEP with the school psychologist, and they expressed their concern that there was not a teacher hired yet, and Dory will be a guinea pig in the program. They requested that the placement at SID again, and the district rejected, stating that the program will be appropriate for Dory in their school. So the district convened a meeting on June 8, 1994, but parents were unable and asked for a postponement. After the due process began, Dory's parents enrolled her at SID for the 1994-1995 school year. And so the district denied the postponement of the meeting, stating that two of the attendees will be unavailable after June 10. The district convened a meeting on June 8 without Dory's parents or a representative from the SID, which was the district that Dory was receiving services at. The hearing officer concluded that the oral self-contained program at Sonoran Sky complied with IDEA and that the district should reimburse Dory's parents for the cost of educating Dory at SID for the year 1994-1995. The hearing officer concluded that the district had to reimburse Dory's parents for the 1994-1995 school year tuition, $23,804. The district court found that the district violated the idea by not including Dory's parents and a representative from SID at the June 8 IEP, and by not including information about Dory's present educational levels and measures for evaluating whether her instructional objectives had been achieved. And the district made no attempt to include a representative from SID. The district misinterprets the information of the law and defends their decision based on misinterpretation. The school district prioritized its representative schedules over that of Dory's parents. So when Dory's parents asked for the postponement of the meeting, they, instead of offering a different date, they just went ahead and make the meeting without them. So more findings. The district did not provide a FAPE because it failed to comply with procedures for preparing an IEP, such as parental and teacher involvement. So because they didn't postpone the meeting and they did not include the parents, and also they didn't provide a SID representative, the teacher involvement from SID, that's when they deny or failed to comply with the procedures. So the final decision was the court affirmed the decision of the hearing officer that Dory's parents should be reimbursed for the educational tuition cost of the year 1994-1995, and they were entitled to reimbursement because the federal court, ALG, concluded that the district violated IDEA and the private school placement was proper under the act. So it was appropriate, and which includes equitable. So why Doris case is important in the special education landmark? Because free appropriate public education, FAPE, idea mandates the participation of the parents in the development of the IEP, which they failed to comply with it. The district held the IEP without parent participation, who knew Dory better than other present members in the IEP. And IDEA mandates that in order to provide FAPE, the teacher should be present, which it was the current teacher from the private school. The district used a future teacher, which was not appropriate because Dory had a current teacher and she knew her present levels better than the future teacher. This case was full of misinterpretations of the law and the requirements under IDEA to provide FAPE. Um, so, what is denial of FAPE in this case? Failure to include certain IEP team members is a denial of FAPE. And that's it for this case. The next case is Amanda J. So, Amanda J was a little bit longer and a little bit confusing, but I got the most important facts on this one. Is Amanda J versus Clark County School District. Um, Amanda J was 2 years old when she was first diagnosed by a psychologist at the Special Children Clinic, who found her moderately low in communication and daily living skills and adequate in socialization and motor skills. Amanda was evaluated at 4 by school district staff with mixed results on the autism behavior checklist, and several other times by physicians, including her uncle. She was found severely autistic for the first time on January 10, 1996 by Dr. Hansen. And Amanda utilized many special education services from 1994 to 1996 geared towards speech delay. As any concerned parent would, Amanda's parents went to seek help for their daughter. Her parents sought for Amanda to be eligible for special education. Their main goal was to get the accurate diagnosis for Amanda. At first, a psychologist that worked in the Clark County District diagnosed Amanda as developmentally delayed. Once the family moved to California was when Amanda was diagnosed with severe autism. Amanda's parents, in March 1995, they did not consent to an audiological evaluation. Um, the the nurse found her that she needed some evaluations because of her hearing. Amanda's parents request copies of Amanda's assessment reports, but they never received them until after the initial IEP was completed, and mom only received a 2-page summary of Kenny's observations. In October 24, 1997, Amanda's parents requested for a due process hearing. They requested it for the reason that they wanted to know whether Amanda is inaccurately diagnosed the first time or was inaccurately diagnosed for the first time. They also wanted to know whether Amanda had or had not acquired a FAPE. Parents claimed that they were not given the autism diagnosis or the reports of the evaluations. The district, on April 6, 1995, an eligibility team determined that Amanda was eligible for special education. The district failed to give Amanda's parents copies of the evaluation, indicating the possibility of autism and the need for future psychiatric evaluations. The district made it impossible to design an IEP that addressed Amanda's unique needs as an autistic child. By failing to provide evaluations and a design IEP appropriate to Amanda's unique needs, there is a denial of FAPE by the district. The hearing officer concluded that Amanda had been misidentified as developmentally delayed and had therefore denied a FAPE. The state review officer reversed the hearing officer decision, overturning the credibility of the hearing officer. So the state review officer found that Amanda had neither been misdiagnosed um, nor denied a FAPE. Amanda's parents timely appealed, and the hearing officer findings were the case was required to do a multi-layer review due to conflict credibility determinations by the hearing officer and the state review officer. So the findings were the district failed to properly identify Amanda as an autistic child. Amanda gained very minimal educational benefits from the program she attended. Amanda's parents should be compensated for past educational costs and awarded compensatory education.